Alright, so I figured I would just show you guys some stuff I got hatching here over the last few days. First I've got this clutch of olive pythons. They started pipping on Friday 26th. Today's Wednesday. And I had them separated basically throughout 4 different tubs, and the last of the 4 tubs were hatching today. So I've already got a lot of them separated out. There was initially 23 eggs. One went bad during incubation, and 6 of them just were dead in the egg. Like, some of them pipped, but were still dead in the egg, and then some of them didn't pip. Naturally, after the first, half of the clutch has pipped, I'll kind of go through and slit the eggs just in case, but in this particular time, I don't have any help in the shop anymore, and I was out of town at the expo and stuff, so I don't know if that would have helped or not, but usually with the olive pythons, I always get 1 or 2 anyways that does that, so I don't know if it's a matter of maybe lowering the incubation temp a little bit more next time even. I'm not sure if that'll make a difference. Trying to figure it out what it is. Because you wouldn't think it would be normal. But this time, normally I go 88 degrees. This year I did 87.3, so I already did drop it a little bit. The incubation time was 83 days, approximately, because they took, like 4 days for the whole clutch to go. So, dropping the temp a little bit didn't really, well, it definitely didn't extend the incubation time. But I'll show you here. This is kind of a tub of the babies that I already have separated out. And like with everything, I separate out the babies. I just keep them in a tub like this on some damp paper until they all shed. And then at that point, I'll label them and separate them all out into individual tubs this size. But you can see, like, really big babies when they hatch. And yeah, like most of the pythons, they hatch and immediately go into shed. So once they shed, I'll separate them, and then I'll give them a few days, and then from there I'll start trying to get them all feeding. The olive pythons usually aren't terrible to get feeding. And then, so obviously out of 23 eggs, I got 16 babies, which is like, I wish it was more, but you can, gotta be happy with what you get. This is the last tub. The last ones just came out of their eggs this morning. You can see compared to the eggs, some little babies in there. The rocks are just in there to prevent the loose eggs from rolling around. I just like to use rocks because like they don't really mold or anything like that. And they're heavy enough that I don't got to try and stick them into the substrate. I feel like it doesn't really want to focus on the snakes, but... So yeah, you can see they have pretty good sized eggs. I don't even know where this, oh, this one came out the bottom. Got one climbing up towards me right now. So let's see. Yeah, and these olive pythons, they hatch huge compared to, they're like at least double the size of the little water python babies or the macklot python babies. So I'll throw these guys in this tub. And these guys will be available. Usually I let stuff go once they've had 5 frozen thawed meals, like back to back without skipping a meal. If they skip a meal, then I kind of just start the count over again. Obviously, they'll only be available within Canada. So yeah, one last look at these, and then I have just a tiny little clutch of ackie monitors that hatched too, so I'll show you those. But big old pile of snakes. And get in there. Here I've got a little clutch of baby ackie monitors. So you can see, just tiny little guys. And obviously the ackie monitors, they're a dwarf monitor, so they get about the size of a bearded dragon, whereas the quince monitors or the mangrove monitor babies that I hatched, they're 5 times the size of these. You can see there's, I don't know why this doesn't really want to focus, but got a little spiny tail on him. And these guys aren't like the snake babies, like you don't really have to convince them to start feeding or anything like that. Basically what I'll do, a couple of these still have their little umbilicals showing, so I'll put them in a tub in a rack too, just on some moist paper towel for the next day or two until that closes up. And then at that point they'll just go into like a typical terrarium. It'll have substrate and rocks and logs and all of that, and they're good to go right off the hop. Usually within a few days of hatching I'll give them crickets and they'll usually smash them right away. These ones, funny enough too, like for me, ackies are usually like 115, 120 days. These ones were like 125 days hatching, so it was a little bit longer. That incubator, I didn't change anything, so I found that kind of interesting. But yeah, all 4 of them hatched all right. I got a few more clutches in there hatching soon. But yeah, I got some corn snakes and stuff hatching over the next few days. Hopefully some baby Dumeril's boas being born, and then I'll probably film those as well. But yeah, for today I figured I'd show you guys that stuff, and we'll see you next time.